So we seen that like how basically we have to create the contract with reference to sourcing project. So for that we have to go in the our tab, and from here we have to basically select this option as the contract, and we have to choose this option as the create new contract. This part we discussed in the previous session, and we have to select the supplier here, then create the new contract, right? So once you come here, then we have to choose this contract workspace procurement, and from here, once you choose this option, the system will give you this form, and in this form, basically, we have to provide this information like relevant to our contract. So we discussed about this part in the previous session, and now basically we have talked about some other fields. So whatever other fields we discussed. So we talked about like that different contract hierarchy. So whatever different contract hierarchy that Ariba is offering, that's something we discussed, and we discussed some other fields as well. So basically we can see, so since we are creating this contract with reference to sourcing project, so system copies this information automatically from this like that sourcing project. But if you want to specify some information manually, that basically we can specify. So we can give here something about proposed contract amount or contract amount. So what is basically proposed contract amount and contract amount? So sometimes what happen, you are going to give the some proposal to supplier, like that we have to pay, we are going to sign up the contract, let's say for the $10,000. But due to some reason, if supplier is not going to accept the $10,000 contract, so they are saying no, at this price, or like for this particular item we cannot take this sign up for this particular contract. So we can we have to reduce some amount. So whatever amount is there, like that basically we have to specify. So proposed contract amount means whatever proposal we are going to give, and contract amount means actual contract. This is something that just additional information and optional. So if you want to specify this information here, that basically we can specify. Apart from this, in the downside, we have the other basic field like commodity code, region, department, category. That's something if you want to give, you can specify. Otherwise, you can skip because these are the optional field. Now in the right hand side, we have this agreement date. So here basically we have to specify about the agreement date, like on which date you are creating this agreement. So let's say I'm going to give the today's date as an agreement date. Now in the downside, we have the effective date. That means from which date this contract will be effective. And in the last, we have to give the expiration date, like what would be the validity of this contract. So this information basically we have to specify here. So apart from this, the one important parameter is the term type here. So what is basically term type? So Ariba is offering the three different kind of term type of the contract. One is fixed, second is perpetual, and third one is the auto renew. What is basically fixed? So fixed means like the contract which have this fixed validity period. So for example, let's say we can take the example of this contract. What basically we are creating now. So if you see for this contract, so this contract have the effective date by today's date, and this contract have the expiration date by 31st of the March. That means this contract have the valid or a limited validity date. So this is basically called as a fixed contract. So for any of the contract, if you have one specific or you have some specific like a validity period, that basically will come as this term type as a fixed. But apart from this, the Ariba is also offering the perpetual term type as well. So what is basically perpetual? Perpetual means evergreen, or we can say never expire. So in some certain cases, if a customer they want to create a contract with the supplier as a perpetual. So for example, let's say we are purchasing the raw material from the supplier, and that raw material basically, our customer they are from the manufacturing line of business, and we need raw material in our day-to-day manufacturing activities, and that raw material we are purchasing from one supplier. So whatever the price, whatever the item that raw material we are getting from the particular supplier, that is basically best price, and I think that is okay from our customer point of view as well. So in that case, since that raw material required for the everyday or daily basis, so in that case, what we can do, you can create a contract with the term type perpetual. So perpetual means like we will not have any problem or any issue with the contract expiration, and the contract will be valid for the lifetime period. But you have the choice whenever you want to close the contract, you can close. So, but in that case, you have to close manually. System will not close that contract automatically, and we have to perform the manual approach if you want to close the contract. So in that cases, if you want to create the contract as a perpetual, we can create the perpetual as well. In the last, basically, we have the auto renew. So auto renew is applicable for some specific type of product. So what is basically auto renew? So with the help of the auto renew, the system will automatically renew the contract. So when basically system will automatically renew the contract, so this is again applicable in some certain cases. Like let's say we have created some contract, and that contract basically is for the fixed validity period, but we want to auto renew automatically. So in that case, what basically we can do, we can create a contract as the auto renew. But whenever we'll create this auto renew contract, so we also have to specify this renewal interval in the month as well. So basically, how basically you want to auto renew, that's something information also we have to specify. So in this case, the expiration period will not come in the picture first. In this case, our renewal period will come in the picture. So in how many months you want to do the auto renew, like 2 months, 6 months, 12 months, 24 months, whatever. So we have to provide some value here as renewal interval in the month, and also we have to specify this maximum number of the intervals. So even though this contract is going to auto renew automatically for some specific validity period, but how many times it will auto renew, that limit also we have to specify. So like, do you want to auto renew in 5 times or 6 times, like 10 times or whatever? So that value basically we have to provide here in this maximum number of renewals. So let's say we have given here as the 5 month as the renewal interval. That means this contract will be automatically renewed in the 5 month. But let's say I'm going to give here as the 10 times. That means only system will only auto renew this contract 10 times. So once the 10 times you will reach, the system will not auto renew and the system will automatically close the contract. So these three term type are available in the SAP Ariba, and based on the requirement, we can create this contract with any term type like auto renew, perpetual, and the fixed. This is something also important questions from interview perspective as well. This is applicable for sorry, I'm not sure if this is applicable for you or not, but just I'm adding. So sometimes during interview, you may get this type of questions like whatever different contract hierarchy are available in the SAP Ariba, or what are the different term type are available in the SAP Ariba.
So,
Okay.
Rohit, I have a question here. Those are predefined term types, right? Like fixed, perpetual, or auto renew. So, if we
Yes.
want to create a new custom term type, is there any way we can create a new term type?
We can do, but basically we cannot do. So in case of the SAP Ariba, we cannot do any kind of development, any kind of customization. Configuration
Okay.
we can do, customization will not be able to do because of this cloud solutions. So whenever we have to do any customization, we have to reach out to Ariba team, they will do. But
Okay.
before reach out to Ariba team, we have to provide proper information to them, like what different kind of term that you want to create. So that information we have to provide them, and they will able to create.
So basically, customer cannot. They will not have. We will not have any flexibility to create our own customization. Okay.
No. Ariba is not given the database access to this in like a customer. Customer means including implementation partner as well, because we have to work as an implementation partner. So this option Ariba is not given to the customer. We will not have the database access in the Ariba.
Got you. Got you.
Okay. Even during implementation, like that. So during requirement gathering, so sometimes customer they are requesting to add some additional field, right? So here basically you may get some information from the customer, like they want to add some custom field here. So that is also a kind of development, and for that as well we have to reach out to Ariba team and we have to ask them to add this custom field. So our responsibility will be like to collect all the information from the customer and to provide all the logic to the Ariba team. So whatever logic, whatever information will provide to the Ariba team accordingly. Ariba team means Ariba company team, because we are also treating as Ariba team as well. So we have to provide the information to Ariba shared service team. Shared service team is the right term which we can use, and they will do this activity. Then we have to perform our testing and we have to hand over to our customer.
Yep, got it. Yeah.
All right. So once we specify this information, then we have to come downside, and here as well we have the external system integration. So this is applicable in the case if your customer they have the integration with the backend SAP system, even though they will have the Ariba suite. Ariba suite means they will have the license of the Ariba upstream and downstream, or might be they will have only Ariba contract module. So again, I'm repeating, like whatever the solutions Ariba is offering, so these solutions are basically the individual solutions or independent solutions. So the customer have the total flexibility, like they whatever solutions they want to subscribe, they can subscribe. It's not mandatory. They have to purchase the entire suite itself. That is not mandatory. It's not compulsory. If they want to subscribe any of the particular license, they can subscribe only of the particular license as well. So for example, let's say I am the customer and I want to only subscribe this Ariba contract module. I am free. I can take only the license of the Ariba contract module. And if you want to only take this Ariba P2P, you can take only of the Ariba P2P itself. It's not required. You have to purchase the entire suite. So in that case, if whatever the license or whatever the system architecture that your customer they have, and if they have the integration with the backend SAP system, so definitely they will expect to synchronize this contract information to the backend SAP system. Even though there could be different scenario, so different scenario in the sense like in one cases your customer they have only contract module, they will not have the Ariba P2P module. So in that case, they are going to utilize the contract in the backend SAP system, right? So in that case, basically they will expect that this contract should be available to the backend SAP system. In other cases, might be your customer, they will have this Ariba contract module along with the P2P module as well. So in that case, they are going to utilize the contract in this Ariba P2P solutions also, right? But in that case as well, they may expect like this contract information should available in the backend SAP system. So from reporting point of view or from for other analysis point of view, if they will check this particular contract in the backend SAP system, this should be available. So if you want to send this contract information to backend SAP system, so for that, we have to provide this information. So generally in the real time, this information will come automatically. We do not have to specify this information, like what is company code, what is purchasing or what is the purchasing group or what is payment term. This information will come automatically. Only they have to specify this document type and document category. So in this case, if you click on this document type, you will have only one option, that is contract, because we are going to integrate our contract solutions with the backend SAP system. So you have to choose a contract here, and whatever different whatever different document type we have to select here, that basically we can select in the document category. So here, if you click on this drop down, you will have the MK, or in some cases you have the custom as well. So you will have your custom document type as well. So whatever document type you want to choose, you can basically choose. So if you see this term document type and document category, this is something just like creating the confusion in case of the Ariba as compared to our backend SAP system, right? So in the backend SAP system, this WKMK is not the document category, that is called as the document type, right? And here the document type, here we can see we have document type contract, but this contract is not the document type. This is basically the document category in the backend SAP system. But this is the Ariba standard design, and Ariba has given this option. So we have to choose any of the options for whatever contract you want to create, you want to integrate, you can basically do that.
Rohit, so basically, can you drop down the document category? Value contract and quantity contract, right? These are the standard contract types.
Yes.
That means we automatically assign standard document types only. If we have some custom.
No. You can add custom as well. So if you have some custom document type in the backend SAP system, you can load here the custom document type, and the custom document type will also.
How
that's something basically Ariba team is doing. I'll show you the path where they are doing basically, but that activity Ariba team is doing because they have some formulas there. So they are recommending, like we're not there. We have the access, but basically we are not doing. Even if you try to do, it will not be available here because they have some coding there. But I'll show you how to do.
Yeah, so you will cover that part later, okay? How to sync that?
All the configuration we'll discuss later. Yes.
Okay, got you. Okay. So basically, whatever the document types that we have in the SAP system, that they will reflect here, but we got some customization that we have to do in backend SAP system, correct?
Yeah, right. Okay, so once you specify this external system integration information here, then we have to come downside and we have to select the particular template. So whatever template that is applicable in your case, so we have to basically select the template here. So if you see, basically this is the demo site. A demo site means this is the customer specific site, but this is the test site. And we can see we have the many more templates are available here. But if you see in your case, might be if you have this Ariba system access in your project, so you may have not you may not have this number of template. You may have max to max 2 to 3 templates or 3 to 4 templates like that. So why basically we will have the very less template in the real-time project, and even whenever basically we are implementing this SAP Ariba, and during configuration of the template, we also have to work to minimize the number of template as well. Why? Because we have to select one template. Now you can see you have this much list of template. Now how you can find out like which template you have to select? What are the way? So we have the only one approach to select the template by seeing this description. So whatever description you can see, accordingly you have to select a particular template, right? So generally in the real time, we do not have to make the things complex, because if you provide a huge list of the template to the business user, so they have to go one by one and they have to read and understand that description of the template, and accordingly they have to select. So that is why generally we have to simplify the customer business process. So we have to minimize the number of templates. And in your that production system, if you see, you will have max to max 3 to 4 template, or you may have 4 to 5 template. That's it. In some certain cases, you may see may have only 1 or 2 templates. That's something different. Okay. So whatever template that is applicable in your case, that basically we can select here. So let me check this template itself. This is something the custom template someone has created. And in this template, we have 2 questionnaire, like will you use supplier paper, or does this contract require visibility of a BP? So this is something questionnaire we can configure. This is in our hand, and we are responsible to configure the template. Again, how to configure? This is not that sorry, we'll discuss about that part configuration later during our configuration session. So since we are talking about business process, so here from the business point of view, we have to provide some answer here. So whatever answer you want to choose, yes or no, that basically you can choose. And here we have one more question, and for that as well, we'll choose one option like yes or no. So it depends on you, whatever information you want to specify in the form of the questionnaire, we can specify. Now in the last, we have to basically click on the create. So before hitting this create, any question from anyone?
Can you go back to that SAP customization? I just want to see that screen. That's all. How did you? Oh, okay. So you have to just navigate down, and then you will see the template, right? Okay, got it.
Yes, right.
Okay.
Any further question? Okay. So now basically in the next, we have to click on the create. So once you click on the create, system will give you this pop-up. And this pop-up basically will appear whenever you will create that the contract with a reference to sourcing project. So if you create the contract without reference of the sourcing project, that means directly from the create menu, in that case, this pop-up will not be available here. Now, what is this pop-up? So if you see in this pop-up, we have 2 options. One is basically the create contract line item documents, and the second option is that create pricing terms Excel document. So what is this? To understand this, let's talk about some business scenario. So now we'll go to, let's talk about some business scenario, like how basically the different processes will be available in this, from the customer point of view. So generally, if you work in this Ariba project or Ariba contract project, you may see you will have 3 different scenarios. So one scenario will be customer. Where is number 1? We'll have Ariba contract module along with Ariba P2P module and integration with backend system. Okay, this is one case. Second case basically will be, let me type the same here. Customer will have Ariba contract module along with, so let me remove this along, without Ariba P2P module and integration with the backend SAP system. Now we have one more, third one. And third one basically is a contract compliance. Okay, so generally, like whenever you will implement this Ariba contract module to any of the customer, so you have to work with any of this scenario. Okay, or let me just recorrect my statement. So whenever you will you have to work with this SAP Ariba, like either in this Ariba contract module or in the Ariba P2P module as well. So generally we have to work with any of this scenario. So it depends on this license, whatever license basically you have, accordingly we have to design the process as well. So if you see in the first cases, so in the first cases it is trying to say like customer will have the Ariba contract module along with the Ariba P2P module, and they have the integration with the backend SAP system as well. In second cases, the customer will have the Ariba contract module without Ariba P2P module. So in this case, customer will not have the Ariba P2P module. They have the only Ariba contract module, and but the integration is also in place. Now, in third case, we have the Ariba contract compliance. So what is basically contract compliance? So as we discussed earlier, like whatever the options are available here, like whatever solutions the Ariba is offering, like sourcing, supplier, contract, P2P, or the catalog. These are the individual solutions, and the customers, they can subscribe any of the solutions here. Like they want to take Ariba contract module only, they can take. And if the customer, they want to take only Ariba P2P module, they can take. Let's assume our customer, they are interested to only implement the Ariba P2P module. So due to some that budget constant or due to any reason, so let's assume our customer, they have the backend SAP system, so they are using SAP ECC or SAP S4HANA, and but due to some reason they want to only subscribe the Ariba P2P module just to go on this digital platform to perform the procurement activity, and other modules they're not going to subscribe due to any reason. So whatever reason that they may have, might be they are not interested, they are happy with the legacy system as well, or might be they have some budget constant, they are not going to implement other solutions. So they are only going to implement the Ariba P2P module only. So if you see the Ariba P2P module, that is basically we can say it's a kind of core module. So why we can say core module, even though core module is not the right term, but just I'm explaining core module because like based on this P2P activity only, our business will impact. Like if you, whatever the purchasing activity that you will do in the P2P solutions, accordingly you will do the payment to the supplier, right? And based on that you'll prepare your business balance sheet, like how much spend we did, what is our profit, what is our loss, and you'll find out the scope, like where basically you have some scope for the pricing negotiation or to create the contract like that, right? So all those activity basically you can do based on your purchasing activity or purchasing history as well. Whereas if you talk about other solutions like supplier, sourcing, and contract, so these solutions is not going to impact on your financial activities. Why? Because based on the solutions, you are not going to make any payment to the supplier. This is only activity to determine the source. That's it, right? But with the help of the P2P activity, we are going. This is going to impact your financial part, right? So what happens sometimes if your customer, they are using the Ariba P2P module, and based on this purchasing history, they can find out some scope about the sourcing activity and about this like contract activity as well, like wherever we can negotiate with the supplier to reduce some price, or wherever we can sign up a contract so that whatever that discount or offers the supplier is offering, so we can also implement our purchasing process as well. That's something scope they will have. So sometimes customer, they are expecting, like even though due to some reason they are not going to implement the Ariba contract module. So whatever the other options are available in the Ariba contract module, they are not willing to implement that part. They are not interested to work on that part as well. That something is out of scope for them. But they want some basic functionality of the contract in free of cost, or might be with some minimum charges. They want to have some basic contract functionality in the Ariba P2P module, so that they can also take the benefit of discounts and offers as well, whatever supplier is offering to the customer, right? So in general, we can say they are expecting they should have some basic feature of the contract in the Ariba P2P module, so that they can also take the benefit of the supplier discount. So in that case, if you say no, these solutions are not available and they have to go to the Ariba contract module itself, so in that case, definitely customer will not accept that solution, right? Because every customer, they want so that they want at least some basic feature, so that they can also use that basic functionality, and after using the basic functionality, if they are okay with that, so they can go and they can subscribe that, like that solutions particularly, right? So for example, you can take the example of the LinkedIn. So in the LinkedIn, we have the option that we can do the chatting, right? So if we are going to connect on the over the LinkedIn, so once we'll connect, once I will add or once you will add in your connections, we can do some chatting, right? So whatever messages you want to communicate, we can communicate. But if you want to communicate or you want to do any chatting or you want to send any messages without adding a connection, in that case, that option is not available as a standard, right? So for that, that option is available, but that option is available based on the paid services. So you can take some premium, like that some functionality or some process, and based on that, basically you can do the messages without adding your contact as well. So at initially, when I will subscribe for the LinkedIn, and if LinkedIn will tell me like, no, this basic option is not available, you cannot do any messaging functionality here. And if you want to do the messaging functionality or chatting functionality, you have to take this premium, like that basically package. Then only you will able to do. So what do you think? Will I accept the solutions? Definitely no, right? But since they are offering that functionality free of cost as basic, but in so that basically I will accept and I will use. But for tomorrow, based on my need, if I have to do some messages to other connections as well, and even though those connections are not in my list, so in that case I will think, okay, why not I can take this premium subscription, so I can send some messages to the other, like that connections as well, without adding in the my list. So the same option is available here as well in the Ariba. So sometimes customer, they are expecting to have the basic level of the contract functionality, even though they are not subscribing that contract module. So Ariba has given this basic functionality to the customer. Even yes, of course, there are some licensing costs, because everything they cannot provide to customer in the free of cost. They are taking some charges. So by paying that minimum charges, customer can subscribe that functionality, and that functionality is called as the contract compliance. So this contract compliance is only available in the downstream solutions, and this is the add-on in the downstream solutions, which is providing some basic level of the contract feature to the customer. Okay. So generally, you will have three different kind of scenario, like in this, like from customer point of view, and for these three scenario, we have to follow the different process types. So let's try to understand whatever different process we have to basically follow to create or in any of this scenario. So let's talk about the first scenario. So in this case, if the customer, they have the Ariba contract module along with the P2P solutions, in that case, they have to follow this process like this. So in the first, they have to create contract workspace. In the second, they have to work with the task, team, or document. In third, I'm just adding separately approval of contract workspace. Even though approval of contract workspace will be the part of task as well, but just I've added here for your information purpose. And in the next, we have to create contract term, and this contract term is also called as contract request or pricing term. And in the next, approval of contract, and in the last, you will have the contract number here, right? So these are the different processes, like this is the different processes like that basically we have to that follow in case of the first scenario. So same way, if you go to second scenario, so in second scenario as well, we have to follow same process but with some differences. So in second scenario, we have only Ariba contract module without the Ariba P2P module license. And so in that case, we have to create contract workspace, that is okay. We have to work with the task, team, and document, approval of the contract workspace. And but here in this case, this option will not come in the picture, and we have to basically create contract line item document. And in short, it is basically called as a CLEAT document. And last, we have to basically publish the contract here. So basically publishing activity is also applicable in case of the first scenario as well. So publishing is not very important. That something is optional. But in case of second scenario, we have to follow this process. Now, if we talk about third scenario, so in third scenario, we have to follow the process, create contract request, then approval of contract request, and in the last, we'll have the contract. Now, before going ahead, are you guys getting? Am I clear to everyone? Bindu, Sasi?
Yes, Rohit.
So, Rohit, you are going to show this in portal, right? How?
Yes, don't worry, sir. I'll show you.
Okay. I mean, like, if you don't have plan, you don't need to. But what is your idea? Like, you are planning to show these scenarios, or you're just writing this?
Give me, just park this question. Give me some time. Your question will automatically answer.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, so we'll have basically this three scenario, like first scenario, second scenario, and third scenario. So now basically in the first case, again, if you see, so here customer will have the Ariba contract module along with the Ariba P2P module. So generally when we are creating the contract, so what basically we are doing, so in the next, so creating the contract is not a very big thing. You can create the contract, you can discuss with some supplier, and you can sign up the contract. That's fine. But important thing is that utilization of the contract. We have to basically utilize the contract. That is basically the very important. So in that case, basically, so where basically we are going to utilize the contract, we are going to utilize the contract in this downstream solutions. That means in the P2P solution. So here in this case, we have to follow this process: create contract workspace, perform the task, team, and document activity, approval of the contract workspace. Then basically we have to create the contract term, and this contract term is also called as a contract request. This is also called as a contract request. Like here we can see we have contract request. This is also called as a contract request, or we can say pricing term. In the next, we have the approval of the contract, and in the last, we will have the contract number. In second case, we do not have the Ariba P2P module. Here we have without Ariba P2P module. That means in this case, the customer, they are going to utilize the contract in the backend SAP system, right? So in this case, that the process will little bit different. So if you see up to this process, this will be okay. We have to follow same way in this Ariba itself. But sorry, not in the Ariba, we have to basically follow this process. Now in the next, instead of the creating the contract term, we have to basically create the contract like item document here, that is the click document, right? And then we have to basically publish, then contract will be available in the Ariba. Now in third case is the contract compliance. So we discussed basically what is contract compliance, that we discussed earlier. So in case of the contract compliance, we have to follow only three processes. So if you see here, so we have the contract request, and we have to go for the approval for the contract request, and then we have to go, we will have the contract number. So this three process step basically we have to follow in case of the contract compliance. Okay. Now in our system, we have the complete Ariba suite. That means we have the upstream, we have downstream, or if you simplify this statement, we can say in our system we have the Ariba contract module along with the Ariba P2P module. So what do you think? Which option we have to select based on our discussion?
I think you have to select the first one, right? Contract line item document. If you have PTP,
this first one is the create contract documents that is applicable here in this case, right? Here, and this is applicable without P2P module. But in our case, we have the Ariba P2P module as well. So in that case, we have to select this option, create the pricing term here. So that is why system is giving this pop-up here, like which document you want to create. So if you have this Ariba contract module only, we have to choose the first option. Otherwise, if you have the Ariba, like that basically P2P module, so in that case, we have to basically choose the second option.
Right, I was wrong.
Now, before going ahead, like in this part, let me ask you one question. This is basically very important questions, like in your project point of view or from the interview point of view as well. So what is happening? What basically we are doing? We are going to create the contract. I mean, we are creating the contract here, right? But thing is that, so after creating the contract, what you will do? You have to basically utilize the contract. We are basically creating the contract, and after creating the contract, what basically we have to do? We have to utilize our contract, right? And the utilization where basically we have to do. So we have to do in the Ariba P2P solutions. I'm not talking about backend SAP system now. That something is a different thing itself. But let's talk about only Ariba platform. So we are basically creating the Ariba contract in the Ariba contract module. And in the next, what we have to do, we have to basically utilize the contract. And where to utilize? We have to utilize the contract in the Ariba P2P module. Ariba P2P module is also called as the Ariba buying and invoicing as well. Okay, so now the question is that you are creating the contract in the upstream, that means in the contract module, and you are going to utilize the contract in the downstream. So how the contract will be available in the downstream part? What is the integration touch point? This is the question. Again, I'm repeating my question. How the contract will be available from the upstream to downstream? What is the integration touch point? Or what config we have to do? What config basically we have to do to integrate our contract with the Ariba P2P service? How we can do? So answer of this question is that we do not have to do anything. Nothing is required from our side. This is the standard functionality. Ariba has given this this functionality out of box. It is available as a standard. But only we have to understand how this contract will be available in the downstream part. That's something we will understand in some time. So now what we'll do basically, we have to go in our system and we'll choose the second option. Then we'll click on the create. Okay, before hitting this create, is there any question? Because once we click on this OK, then if you try to come back this screen will not be able to come back. So any question here, or can we go ahead?
I think we can go ahead actually.
Okay, so now basically we can click on this OK, and once we click on this OK, then system will create this contract workspace. So basically system will create one contract workspace, and in the workspace we will have different information. So like here we can see the workspace is created, and in this workspace we can see we have different tab here. Like we can see overview tab, documents tab, task tab, team tab, message board, and the history. And here we can see system has also generated the contract workspace ID. So what is basically contract workspace ID? That is 12909. That's something internal generated number. And always system will generate the internal number here in case of this contract creation. So you have this the workspace ID now. So now basically if you see our process step, what we discussed earlier, so we have to basically create the contract workspace that basically we created, and now we can see this is our contract workspace ID. And now in the next we have to basically work with this task, team, and document. So now here basically we have to come into our system and we have to work with the document. So if you want to include any of the particular document, so we have to basically include the particular document here, like whatever term and condition document you want to include. So we can see in this case we have this term and condition document that is already attached as a template label. So that is why by default it will be available here. So we have to work with the document. We have to work with a different kind of task. So task means basically this is a kind of we can say some set of the activity. So to create a successful contract from the customer point of view, whatever different activities that a customer they are doing, so those activity we have to include here. So for example, we can see we have the information about validate internal team members, prepare main agreement, prepare contract pricing, review the main agreement, supplier negotiation, final approval, execute agreement. So like that we have different options are available. These are basically the activity, and this list of activity is customer specific activity. So in this side we can see this task, or in this template we can see this task. But if you see in the other system, might be from other customer point of view, they will have some different tasks. It depends on the customer choice. Whatever activities you are performing to create a successful contract, those activity basically we have to include here. So this activity we have to configure during template label, or sorry, at the template label. So how to configure? So we'll talk about during configuration session. So from a business user point of view, business user, they have to complete these different activities. And in the next, if you come to the team tab, basically, so in the team tab, we have different team information. So whatever different team information that basically you want to include here based on the requirement, you can basically include the different team information. So first, basically, we have to work on these three activities: document, task, and team activity. So how basically we have to work with this, like, different activities. So since this is not our activity in the, like, that any implementation project as well, this is a purely individual job. So let me quickly show you how basically we have to work with any of the tasks, whatever activity we have to perform. That's something I'll show you. Then basically move to our next topic. So first, basically, what the business user they will do. So whenever they will create the contract, like in the production system, so then, like, they have to first, like, work on the task. So whatever different task is there, they have to perform the task. So in each and every task, you can see we have this honor here. So what in the honor can see we have different group here, like project owner, contract author, director, contract negotiator. Like that, we have different honors are available here. So the first question is that who is responsible to perform this task? So whatever task we can see, who is responsible to perform this task? So we can say the owner are responsible. But here in the honor, we can see only, like, list of the group here, list of group here. So here basically, so if you want to see the list of team member, like who belongs to list group, then we can come here in the team, and here basically in the team we can see different team members. So as of now, there is no, like, such team members are like, assigned here. So we have to basically assign the different team member based on the requirement. And why basically we require this different team member? Because this is not the one man show, right? So if only one business user, they would like to perform this all the activities, that basically will be very tough for him, because creating a contract is not a very easy thing. So in some cases it's very easy, in some cases it's very difficult as well. So depends on the requirement, depends on your, like, like nature of this contract as well. We may need different team member. It depends, totally depends on the requirement. So now how we can update this team member information? So updating team member information is also a kind of task. So that is why we can see this task is available here, like validate internal team members, right? So now once you come here, so what basically business user will do? So here we can see this is the responsibility of the project owner. So project owner in the sense the person who is creating the contract workspace. So since we are creating, so I am basically project owner. So what first I will do, I will come here and I need to perform this task, right? And if you see the status of this task, it is showing as not started. That means as of now we have not started working on this task. So first basically we have to start this task. So might be I'm aware how what to do next. So what I will do, I'll directly come here in the team tab and I will start updating the team information, right? But let's assume we have not updated the information here as that, like, status, something like is still showing not started. So might be if other team member, or might be for, my manager, if he will see this contract and he will able to see, oh, this task is, like, supposed to start, but still this task is showing not started. That means we have not, I'm not working on this particular task. So this is not providing the exact status of the, like, our task. So in that case, definitely he will come to me and he will ask me, like, why this task is not started, when you're planning to come start this task. So they may ask different type of question. Even though I'm working on this team information, but based on this status only, he will ask the question to me. So just to avoid such type of questions, what basically we have to do, we have to come here, and here we have to click on the mark start. So this is something business user activity. They have to click on the mark started. Once we click on the mark start, then basically the system will automatically change the status of this task as the in progress. So now if I will work here on the team information, and if someone will check, like, this information, this contract workspace status, he will see, okay, it is in progress, and due date is basically 5th of the March. So that is fine. Today is basically 4th, so tomorrow we can expect he will able to complete, right? So now basically that question will not come. So that is why business user, they have to first come here, like, to click on the mark started, and then once you will complete, then basically they have to click on the mark complete here. So before going to mark complete, let me quickly show you how we can update the member information as well. So for that, we have to come to on team tab, and from here we have to go to actions, and from here click on the edit. So once you click on the edit here, we can see this screen are editable. Now whatever different user you want to assign, you can assign. So let's say I'm going to assign test user, test user, test user, because we are not doing the realistic thing. Just I'm assigning, like, any of the users here, like this I assigned here. Now click on the OK. So once you click on this, okay, now we can see we have done this part. Now what I will do, I'll come to task tab, and from here again go to task and click on this mark complete. So once you click on the mark complete, the system will give this tick mark, and we can see the task is completed. So this is something activity that business user they have to perform for the different tasks. Basically, whatever task they have to perform. This is purely individual activity. Our responsibility will be provide the training to individual, and our responsibility will be to design this template based on the requirement, like how it is available here, and like execution of this activity, will be done by this business user itself. So just I'm trying to show you how they are executing this particular task. If you want to do more practice, you will also have the system access. You can also like go one by one task, and you can see you can try to perform. Okay. Now let me show you one more task here. So in the second, we have to prepare main agreement. This is something that means we have to work on the document basically. So what is basically main agreement? Main agreement means in Ariba term we can say term and condition document. So here basically it is asking to prepare this main agreement. That means we have to prepare the term and condition document. So let's assume in our case our term and condition document is already available. That is readily available. So nothing to do here. So what I will do, I'll come here and directly I'll click on the mark complete. So why basically I click on the mark complete, because this task is already completed. So since this document is already available, so I can do this activity directly. It's not mandatory. We have to first go and click on the mark start. Then only we can click on the mark complete. It's up to you. If you want to directly click on the mark complete, you can click. So this will not be allow us, but I can do in the other. So let me try to do here. Might be I'll able to show you. I can click on the mark complete here. Okay, documents. So okay, so basically this is something like relevant to the document. So it is expecting the system should we have to change my document here. So that means we have to come in the documents here, and we have to modify the documents, whatever documents we can see here. So we can see as of now it is showing as a not edited. So once basically we'll edit the document, then only we'll able to click on the mark complete. So whatever edit you want to do, so basically sometimes you want to download it. First basically you can see the details here. So click on the view details, and once you click here, then basically you can, oh, nothing is available here. Okay, it's not available here. We have to basically download this. So we can come here and we can download. So click on the download, and once you click on the download, the system will download this document, and we can see this is our main agreement document. You can open this document and you can review this document basically, like whatever term and conditions information are available, and you can do any of the changes whatever you require. And in the next you can save it, and in the next you can come to system, and once your document will be ready, then we have to come here and we have to basically upload the document. So we have to basically so whenever you want to upload this document, so we have to basically come here and click on the replace document. And once you click on the replace document, the system will give you the option to choose the file. So whatever file basically you modified or you prepared, you can come here and we can choose our file. So we can come here and let me quickly choose the particular document, then click on this open. Now click on the replace. So like this we can do the replacement here. Now click on the save, and once you do this, then document status will be changed. We can see now it is showing main agreement is in draft status. If you want to publish it, you can publish it as well. So how basically we can publish it? Come to this drop down, and here we can see we have published button. You can click on the publish. Now we can see our document is published now. And now if you go to task, and if you click on this mark complete in the prepayment agreement, your task will be completed. So now here we can see this task is complete. So like this, in the production system, the business user, they are performing this task like in different way, and in different, like they are doing completing this task, like whatever different tasks are there, they are basically completing by. So I'm not going to show you all this that basically task, because this is something individual activities, and we are not basically, we don't have to act as an individual. So that's something I'm going to end here, and now we'll talk in the next process, like what next basically we have to do. So people going to next, any question, any doubt here? Bindu and Sasi?
No questions for me.
Am I clear, everyone? Are you guys getting?
No, you're clear.
Okay, that's good. Okay, so now basically in the next, so this activity is something, let's assume that we have completed, like, task, team, and document. So that is why here we can see we have mentioned this part, like, task, team, and document activity. So once you complete this activity, then basically you will have the approval of the contract workspace. So this approval of the contract workspace will also the part of this task as well. So if you see here, you will have the approval. So we can see final approval of the contract workspace. This is also the part of this that task itself, but just I just added because in most of the cases we are mainly focusing on the approval part. So if you need approval process, so do we have the approval workflow in the Ariba contract or not? So just for the information purpose, I have added here as the approval of the contract workspace. Now let's assume we have completed this activity. But yeah, remember one thing, without completion of this task, you will not be able to publish this contract workspace. Because once we, even though you can create the next subsequent document as well. Next subsequent document in the sense, like we have to create the contract term, we can create contract term. But once we create the contract term, so in the last we have to publish this contract to create the contract number. But until unless you will not create complete all these tasks, the system will not allow you to publish this contract. This is the restriction that basically is there in the system. So that is why in the production system, the business user, they have to complete all the tasks, and all the tasks in the sense whatever task basically is required. So they have to complete all the required tasks, then only the system allows them to complete that particular task here. Okay. So let's assume that we have completed the different kind of task, whatever task, document activity, or whatever team activity information that's available. We have completed that part. Now in the next, what basically we have to do, we have to create the contract term here. So now before going to create the contract term, if you see in the documents tab, so here we can see we have one document here, pricing term, right? So this pricing term document, system has created automatically. And why, how system created? So in the previous step, what option is selected? In the previous step, we have selected the option to create the pricing term Excel document in the pop-up, right? So since we have selected that option, that is why system has created this pricing term Excel sheet, and this is just only for information purpose. So if you open this pricing term Excel document, so we have to basically download this draft. So in this document, you will have the contract information and you will have the sourcing information as well. So whatever the contract information we specified as of now, and sourcing information that will be available in the pricing term Excel document, and this is just only for information purpose. So if you come here, we can see we have the 4 sheet here, like contract header, contract item information, header attributes, and the item attributes. So in the contract header, you can see this is the information about some header level information, contract item information. So whatever item information is available, that means your line item information that will be there in the contract, that is available here. And here we can see header attribute. So this is something your sourcing information. So in the sourcing, we seen that we have this information, different kind of content, right? And also here in the item attributes, you can see your pricing information. So this pricing information we specified in this sourcing, like price, quantity, extended price, total cost, savings, shipping cost. So this information will be available here. So this is basically your just extraction of your sourcing line item information and the contract header information, including line item information, just only for information purpose. Okay. Now in the next, so this is just basically you can download, you can just go through, you can understand. Now in the next, basically we have to create a contract. So how basically we can create the contract term? So here we can see in the next step we have to create the contract term now. How to create? So for that we have to come in the documents tab, and from here we have to click on the Excel menu, and from here we have to choose the option as the contract term here. So when you click on this contract term here, then system will give you that next screen, and this screen basically is providing you the option to verify the information. So whatever information you specified earlier, like about hierarchical type, proposed contract amount, affected parties, agreement date, effective date. So this information, if you want to review, you can review and you can edit. Otherwise, in the next, like when you move to the next, that basically we will have different screen, and later if you want to make it, you want to change this information, it will be little bit tough. Okay, now basically, so we have to, in the next, we have to click on the OK. But here we can see, before hitting this OK, if you observe two information here, one is contract ID. So we have only one contract ID, that is the CWID, contract workspace ID, right? Second, you can see in the URL. So what URL you can see here? In the URL, we can see we have the sourcing here, right? So sourcing means not the sourcing module. Sourcing means upstream license, upstream solutions. So whenever you will work in this upstream solutions, you will see you will have only the sourcing in the URL. Okay. Now, one more thing. Okay, one question basically here. So as of now, whatever activity we perform, like we seen that, like we perform this document activity, task activity, team activity, right? So as of now, do we have provided any information about the line item, like whatever line item we are going to purchase, or what is the price of the line items? Have you given that information in the contract? Not
No.
yet, right?
No.
Right. So that means, can we say still we have not created the contract? Or we can we say still we have not created the actual contract, because what you will do with the task, what you will do with the documents, what you will do with the team, we cannot do anything with the task or documents or team, right? So until unless we will not include our line item information, so we will not use, there is no use of these other options as well. So as of now, we have not provided any line item information. That means we can say they have not created the contract or actual contract yet, right? So we are just working on some workaround. That means we are just completing the different activities. We are preparing our documents, term and condition documents, with the help of the different team members, right? So that is why up to this process is called as the contract authoring. So sometimes you may see this term, contract authoring. Okay, so this process basically is called as a contract authoring. In some cases, people are saying sometimes, what is contract authoring? This is basically our contract authoring. So we are basically we are authoring our contract. Okay, now let's see what I will do now. We'll click on the OK. So once you click on this OK, you will basically see two changes. So when you click on the OK here, now let's see what will happen. Oh, asking for login. Give me a moment. I will take only 1 minute, then we close the session. Okay, so I just logged in now, and we can see. So once we click on this OK, so here we can see some changes. And what changes we can see? First, you can see earlier we were on the sourcing, or let me show you again this part. Okay, I'll click on the exit. Again, save this request. Then system will navigate us to the our workspace page. Click on the done. This is our workspace page now. And what we did basically, we have created the contract term. That is why we can see here, like we have this link of the contract term. And you can see now basically we are going to open the contract term, but before opening, we are basically in the upstream. We are basically in the sourcing, right? Now what I will do, I'll go to click on the open this contract term and click on the open. So once you click on this open, then we can see system navigated us to this downstream part. Now basically you are basically in this buyer page, in the buyer solutions, right? So this is the one changes, and second changes you can see this CR286. So basically buyer is representing your downstream solutions and sourcing is representing your the upstream solution. So now basically can we say so actual contract we are not creating in the upstream, actual contract we are creating in the downstream. Can we say agree or not?
Yeah, agree. And what is that CR means? CR.
I'll come on this part. I'll come on this part. We'll talk about this part.
Okay.
Rohit, like earlier, right, you did pricing terms, right? If you're doing that, then you're doing the actual contract on downstream. Let's say you did
Exactly.
downstream portion, you only had sourcing. And you
we'll
did.
talk about that part. We'll talk about that part. So whatever scenario we have here scenario, different scenario, right? What we discussed. Now you're talking about second scenario, right?
In second scenario, you will actually do the contract in the sourcing
Yeah.
portion. only.
We'll see that part. The second scenario we'll see in the system itself.
Okay.
Now basically we're talking about only first scenario, right? So now can we say we are creating this contract in the downstream part, right? So basically how the system navigated us to the downstream solutions with the help of the contract compliance. So what is basically CR number? CR number is a contract request number, and where basically we are creating the contract request, where contract compliance, right? So now basically that means, that is why you can see here I mentioned here like creating contract term basically is also called as the contract request, right? So actually what we did basically, we have created the contract term in the system, but what system created? System has created contract request here. Earlier we had the CW ID only, right? But now we can see we have one more ID, that is the contract request ID. So have we created the contract request? No. What we created? We have created the contract term, right? So that means from here what you are doing, you are following this contract compliance process. So with the help of this contract compliance, so we can say basically now, like with the help of the contract compliance, we'll have the integration between this contract module and the Ariba P2P module. Am I making sense?
Yep. Interesting. Yeah.
Bindu?
Yes, Rohit.
Right, we will talk about the other scenario as well. I will see in the system. So basically at the same moment, if you discuss about other scenario as well, it will create the confusion for you, right? So let's go one by one. It will give you better clarity, and basically as a consultant we should have the better understanding, better command on the concept. So if you clear from the that subject point of view, it's very easy for you to do this. Right. So now from here contract term, what we are doing basically, we are following the contract request. So that means from here we are not going to talk about only this first scenario. We are also going to talk about the third scenario as well. So here if you see, create contract request, approval of contract request, and contract number, this is same thing we are doing from here itself. So that means now next we are going to talk about the first scenario as well as the third scenario as well. Okay. Now here what basically we have to information provide in the different state, and that means from here we will talk in the tomorrow session. So tomorrow at what time you will want to connect?